Hey guys, so in case you missed it, the latest Marvel film Black Panther has been released, and not only is the hype real, but it's actually a really good movie, and I'm very happy to say that. There's already hundreds and hundreds of videos out there on the internet reviewing Black Panther, and I'm sure they can say this in a lot better ways than I can. So I'm going to do my best to keep this video really short and really sort of concise on my thoughts. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, as far as the movie goes, I have to say that this was hands down probably the best MCU film since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume Number 1. And I would even dare to say it, although I haven't seen it more than once, I've only seen it one time, and I feel like I'm not very knowledgeable about the character of Black Panther and the whole universe. I do know some things, but not a whole lot. But even with those two little things, I feel like this actually might be the best film in the MCU overall. This film absolutely has everything. It has action, it has humor in all the right places. There's not an abundance of it. It has great story. The villain is fantastic. Has a lot of great visuals, a lot of stunning, beautiful shots. There's just so many great things about this movie. It brings up certain conversations. There's nothing bad really I can say about the movie other than it has everything, and that's the best way I can kind of describe it. Now, as far as the acting goes, I think Chadwick Boseman as our main character T'Challa / Black Panther does a fantastic job. He's a little bit stiff if you ask me, but I don't think that was necessarily his fault. I think that's more of just the character himself, of having that sort of king-like presence, who can't show a whole lot of emotion or a whole lot of different things here and there. So he has to be kind of stoic, which is I think what he was going for the character, so I can't really put the blame on him for that. But he does a fantastic job and carries this movie very well. Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, absolutely fantastic. I've loved a lot of his work since way back when he was on Friday Night Lights, the TV show, as well as when he did Chronicle back in 2012. He's extremely talented and he knows exactly what he's doing. A fantastic villain, probably the best villain, as I'm sure you've heard in several other videos if you've watched them. The best MCU villain since Loki. I would absolutely agree with that. He has a great backstory and purpose for what he's doing, and I think that really what brings a lot of weight to his character. So I think he does a phenomenal job. But I think that hands down my favorite character has to be Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, T'Challa's little sister, or younger sister, I should say. She's more like the tech person of T'Challa and of Wakanda. She more like invents tech and does all this great stuff. I think she was hands down my favorite character. She was hilarious. She has this great back and forth with T'Challa a lot of the times, which I think I was really involved in that, and I would love to see a big movie of just those two, back and forth, her inventing things, him using it. I absolutely love that, and I think she did a phenomenal job in Black Mirror. She was in Black Museum, but I think she does an even better job in this one because she has that comedy aspect with a bit more of that family dynamic as well with T'Challa. There's just a lot of great things that her character brings, and she was hands down my favorite character of the entire film. And as far as the story goes, I think that was absolutely fantastic as well. It didn't feel like your cookie cutter superhero story. It did have a lot of those sort of origin sort of moments where he has to grow into becoming Black Panther, things that he wants to overcome personally. There's a lot of different struggles he's going through, but they're nothing like those cookie cutter superhero stories that we've seen 1,000 times before. And a lot of the conversations that it brings up of how he's becoming a king, things that because the world is changing, maybe he has to think outside the box and do things differently, especially for Wakanda, how it's going to affect the world. Tons of great conversations that can come up from that, as well as a lot of other aspects. Killmonger makes a ton of great references and things like that I think are great conversation pieces. I felt like the story was also extremely respectful to a lot of cultures and very accepting of a lot of different cultures and the way that things were created. Absolutely phenomenal, and I can't say enough good things about that. I think that my biggest nitpick that I would have to give to Black Panther, though, is that I feel like it was a little bit over CGI in some points. Not bad thing necessarily, because a lot of these things are very fantastic, so you can't really do them in camera and practical, especially with like Wakanda itself, things like that. But I feel like there were certain points where it just sort of took me out. Like the CG just it wasn't quite either finished or it was overly polished to certain points. I think maybe there's just a certain point where I become so noticing of the CG, especially with a lot of the superhero movies out today, that maybe that's what created the nitpick. But I think that's the only problem that I really have with the movie, if you even want to call it a problem. Everything about this movie I love. The characters, the action, the humor. There's nothing really bad I can say about this movie. And I can't wait to own it, watch it over and over again. It's absolutely phenomenal and definitely worth going to see in theaters. And for that reason, I'm going to give Black Panther an A+. This movie was just a much needed breath of fresh air. I think in a lot of the same beats that, not necessarily same beats, but in the same way that Guardians of the Galaxy was so fresh to the MCU, I think Black Panther does that in its own special way. And this movie is absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, I cannot recommend it enough because it's just so phenomenal. I'm still mind blown by the movie. I would really like to see it again. Maybe in theaters, we'll see. But I definitely can't wait to watch it over and over when it comes out on Blu-ray or digital, whatever it may be. Absolutely, definitely a must-own movie. I highly recommend watching it. But really, that's all my thoughts on Black Panther. If you have seen it, be sure to let me know your comments, your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what your thoughts are. If you happen to watch this video, thank you so much for catching it in the wide span of Black Panther videos out right now. But other than that, that's all I really have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.